Okay, early Sunday morning. I'm not even dressed yet. And it's still too warm to unload, but I'm anxious to see just a little peek. I have never paddled anything before, and yeah, and this just has the sea mist on it, and oh wow, I've never paddled any. I did put a lot of stuff in here. I think there's of interest. I've been starting to do the kiln tiers with some glass. Where did that go? I'm not sure. I think I ruined the piece with that. I don't think that was a good idea. But I did throw some wood ash on there, and it fluxed. It looks like the glaze a little bit. And yeah, just some plain. Okay, these are the ones I made on the kick wheel, and just a plain simple glaze over my blended glaze over some slip. You know, I am so glad I did that T-bowl series. That I kind of decided yeah, I threw a little bit of wood ash where the finger mark is, and it fluxed the glaze there a little bit. This combination has ran for me in the past a little bit more, but still, I decided not to do T-bowls because yeah, the world's full of T-bowl artists, and pick more stuff that's, oh wow. Oh, I'm pleased that and there's where I threw the ash to flux the glaze out a bit, so it gave it a bit of a run. That the world is full of T-bowl artists, and I decided to do stuff that's more, you know, related to East Coast historic pieces, and this is the first of the ring jugs. I was really afraid that it was a little bit wobbly, that it might fall over if we bumped the kiln, but it stood up, and I'm gonna say, you know, that's not pretty and shiny, but it's got exactly what I wanted on it to look like. You know, if it came from the East Coast in the 1880s or something, that it might have had a relatively dull, plain glaze, and even the way it was applied to look like a piece of folk art. So, yeah, we got exactly what we wanted here, and and you know what, I see something else, but it's too far in there to get now. We're going to let this cool a bit and come back. This is filled with more of the T-bowls, and I forget what else, and just some standard wear, but I think I have now a feeling for what the glazes are going to do better than I did earlier.
Let's go for a walk! Do you want to go for a walk?
Let's get right in here for this. And this is what I want to see first, and get a better look at it. Okay, yeah, that was the slip, a white slip combed through, and that's with my blended, what I'll call Celadon. It's standards sea mist, about 1/4 and 1/2 of their ivy, and about 1/4 of their clear. One of the glazes accidentally blended on top of the other, and I didn't want to waste these little ring bottles, flasks, donut flasks. I didn't want to waste any of them either, so I put these in one at a time. Okay, whereas, and even here on my berry colanders, yeah, the same glaze. And most of these I'll do with the sea mist, because this is something that's, you know, made to sell and that people like to buy. But I need to always do a couple in a way that I think I'll like them. And yeah, and this one actually with the sea mist, and you know, it is breaking very nicely on the patterns I put in there, and even seeming to come, oh, okay, down here where it goes over top of the cork is working out well too, and even trying to leave the drips here too. So, wow, is that wind blowing today. So there are things, I'm glad we got our walk over with before that started. So that these are looking more like the pieces that we admire. Okay, and this is an experiment here. Okay, this is what those wood fire people are doing, glazing things rested up on the seashells. So, I'm not sure that I like it. It's a little bit like the early Andy Warhol drip paintings, and him doing it because of, you know, the abstract expressionists of the time and the dripping. That his pieces, he didn't feel called for it, and I think, you know, left that behind. Okay, my blended celadon. Oh, wow. I didn't want to waste any of these tea bowls because there were some in the past that I, you know, made the past couple years a small handful and pretty much wasted them. So we got exactly what I wanted here. And this was, yeah, the kick wheel day after discovering the Mackenzie tea bowls with the flat, you know, untrimmed bottom, just this part being trimmed. And yeah, I came down a little bit too far with the slip, and when I trimmed it, actually removed some, but that's a contrast. The you know, sharp cut bottom, and then with the more natural and random pattern flow of the what I'll call my wave pattern or cloud. Okay, and here's where I threw the ash on, and we got that extra bit of flux. And okay, this is a great day because the light keeps changing, and if the light's always the same, you seem to get it wrong. So with the change, and these have these are all commercial. These are both commercial glazes. The sea mist inside. So as I said in my year one, 2017, maybe you can do stuff with an electric kiln, but this one, yeah, I think the unfortunate, the kiln mark was a mistake on there. But this is the first ever paddle, and that's too bad. This is the first ever paddle I did. So, and that, you know, completely seemed to change the character, the way it broke for the sea mist in this. Okay, and this is on the, so far these have all been on the hazelnut clay body. And everything I use, I'm real close to standard ceramic, so if I mention any names of a glaze, yeah, I shouldn't have put that kiln teardrip on this one. So I will have to try some paddling again. Okay, and this one was on a dark red. I forget which one. And this was a combination that's worked for me in the past, and it actually ran a little more in the past. It kind of stayed stable this time with my Albany slip on the bottom and the sea mist on top, and a little bit of ash thrown here. And the last time the Albany completely developed the yellow haze, and here it only has it in a few breaking spots. It would be nice to have it somewhere in between. And okay, I just wanted to see that on my production pieces, you know, I'm just using sometimes that blue glaze, the sea mist. I wanted to see what happened with something on the rim on these. Okay, and small kiln. I don't usually use half shelves, but we've got one half shelf in there, and okay, yeah, a little bit warm. I'm gonna have to get the gloves out, and here's where, you know, using the seam is very thin so that it breaks in all those grooves. Put here and then wavy and then further up, so that by just dipping it in one glaze, you know, we've got something to give the piece some interest. Okay. And I think this is pretty much the same thing all the way down, a mixture of production pieces and the T-balls. And okay, but you know, making sure that I don't do all the berry colanders blue to sell them, or I should say green blue, the sea mist. But here with my blended celadon-like and my combed waves, or whatever we call them. And here, okay, with the Albany. And you know, that showed off the wavy, etched in, combed in to the clay body, real nice. And the sea mist, okay, ran a little nicer down this one than it did on the T-bowls. And I was trying some different patterns on the holes, on the berry colanders. And oh wow, look at that. I don't think you can see it as well as I can. That medium, or the cork, standards cork, is, yeah, breaking beautifully over the white slip. It's maybe a little thicker here. And this is the pattern I think I decided I like with the drainage. And using one big hole there, and then the pattern like this on the bottom. And this one I didn't do freehand. I put the rings in there and lined them up all neat and even and somewhat semi-straight. Oh wow. This one, yeah, the medium cork over the white slip. And you know, this is not mixed up from a recipe, my white slip. It is just hobby ceramics, stuff out of the molds that wasn't fired, busted up. A neighbor who used to do that, I got the pieces from. Okay. And I'm gonna have to look at these and figure out, okay, I think this is the one where I put the medium cork on the rim for the over the sea mist. So I'll have to line the three of these up and figure out what exactly it was that I did there. Okay, and yeah, this combination worked again. So, and there's where I did the ash to get the extra bit of flux. Okay, so these, yeah, this is the same combinations I did on the top. Oh, okay, here we got the drip again from the ash. And most of these I did several with a similar combination. But each one's a little bit different. And I don't know what this is. Oh, okay. Okay, here we go. We've got, yeah. Okay, to pay the rent pieces, we got our egg separator and our sponge holder. This is part of my Serious Artists Don't Make series. Okay. You know, this is the nicest one, the medium cork. with the sea mist over it. And one more. Oh, okay. Here we go. My special order for the batter bowl with handle. And, yeah. I've been holding back from doing this squiggly, wavy thing, thinking it's too common, or maybe even amateurish, but seeing some Clive Bowen pieces, and his being so alive, and actually seeming to sing, decided, well, you know, I am not going to hold back on something I like. And I do want to do more of the slip. I did redware years ago, but I think, yeah, I like it better on the stone, or I like doing the stoneware more because of the strength of it and the durability. Okay, I am pretty pleased. After a rough start this year with some new glazes and some tests, and actually, instead of doing them on test tiles, wasting half a dozen or more mugs, yeah, we know what it's going to do now. Alright. Spring cleanup time. If you go to my video page, the ones with the black and white tabs, I'll be taking down soon. Time to do a little cleanup. But it is fun to look back and see if I've made any progress since then. Oh, this sadly means the end of my winter studio session. Do subscribe and stop back. I'll do a couple reviews of what happened. And I've got one special order I've got to finish up.